We've made up our minds. Do the impossible. Do better. Do good. Do big. Do small. Do it wrong. Do it again. Do it ourselves. Do it together. Do what no one else has done. Do what will become big. Do the same. Do different. Do everything. Do something. Do new.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to a webinar from Linköping University. Today we're going to talk a bit about what it's like to study an engineering program at LIU, as we call Linköping University. My name is Therese Winder. I'm a communications officer, and I'm here with two guests. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Rana, and I'm from Egypt. I'm studying here aeronautical engineering master program in my second year.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm Simon Schutte. I'm an associate professor at the division of engineering. And yeah, well, if you get here, you will meet me eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to tell us a lot more about what to expect from the academic side and the professor side.
But I've been an exchange student as well.
So yeah,
many years ago.
Yep.
So this you see, this can happen if you get here.
Yeah, exactly. You never get away. Well, we're going to talk about why you should study engineering at LIU. We're going to do an overview of how to apply and what it's like to be here, which you're both given, outside perspective on. This webinar is being recorded. Please put your questions to us in the Q&A section. The chat function you can use to say hi to each other, where you're from and so on. And if you have any questions if you're watching this recording, you can still ask questions in the Q&A and they'll be forwarded to us. You can also just hit reply on an email that you've received from us, for example. So before we talk about engineering, I'm going to just really briefly go through a few slides to just give you a reminder of who we are. So if we can put the slide up, please. All right, next slide, please. So, Linköping University. We're a full university, which means we have both education and research. Established in 1975, so a young university, known for innovative educational programs. We were the first to have industrial engineering and management, so combining two areas. You can also see this in our boundary crossing research. We're quite a large university with 37,500 students. 2,000 are international, and a whole bunch of employees looking after our students. So where are we? Next slide, please, and you can actually see where we are. Next slide is coming up. There you go. Sweden, as you know, hopefully you know, is in Northern Europe. And we've got two main cities. So we've got Linköping, which is where the majority of our programs are offered. And we've also got Norrköping. So Valla in Linköping is the biggest campus, and that's where the studio is at right now. University Hospital is in town. It's also here in Linköping. And then there's Norrköping, which has a few of our engineering programs as well. It's about 200 kilometers south of Stockholm to Linköping. Norrköping is a bit closer, but it's really easy to get the train, or you get the train down to Copenhagen, and you can also fly from Linköping to Amsterdam. So next slide, please. Right. A lot of our engineering programs rank really highly. If you look at the Shanghai ranking, you see telecoms, electrical, electronic, material science, and energy. We're in the top 100 of young universities as well, with us not being 50 yet. And then another slide, please. There's also a huge variety of student associations. Rana will tell you a bit more about the student life later. Are you in one of these? In any of these?
Actually, I'm starting one.
Yeah, you're starting your own.
Yeah, it's called Blue, but not one of these.
Okay,
but
so
just aeronautical. So
yeah, so if you don't see anything, that's already there that tickles your fancy, you can start your own. but there's a lot to do. And then the final slide before we move on to actually talking to the interesting guests. These are the engineering programs that we offer. Rana, aeronautical. You teach in both mechanical and
aeronautical engineering.
Aeronautical engineering.
Both of those students I have in my courses, yes.
Okay. And you're
Yeah,
not
well, sustainable engineering as well. A few of them at least.
okay, but not industrial engineering and management.
No.
But so you see, these are. You'll tell us a bit more about the kind of breadth, I think, later that we offer. But these are the various engineering programs. And what's really important when you look at these is look at the specific requirements. They'll all have, a requirement of having done a bachelor in engineering, but then they might have different specific requirements or different courses, certain courses that you need to have completed to be able to be admitted. Yeah. Right. Enough with the intro. Tell us a bit more about yourself. So do you want to start? Why did you choose Linköping University?
Yes, because mainly I was studying aerospace engineering before I come here, and I know that this is a city called the capital of aviation in Europe, and I was like, oh, what is that? And then it's here, Linköping, and it has like a lot of bunch of amazing aerospace companies and opportunities. So I was like, okay, I want to go to a certain place that has a lot of opportunities for me. Like, I can just go out there and work anything, and I have a place to grow. So I started to put like Linköping in my mind, and then Sweden also was one of my favorite countries before I even come and see the coldness and darkness. But like, it's still okay.
We don't talk about that until people have already,
It's amazing.
arrived here. It's cozy.
Yeah, so much. But yeah, like.
You make that feel really bad. I mean, it's very cozy when you have the fire going on.
Exactly.
It's dark outside and you have snow like now.
Yeah, and candles and so true.
Everything starts to be perfect when it's kind of snowing. So yeah. Yes, and then like I see that okay, Sweden is a good opportunity for me, and I applied for a bunch of universities outside the world, like everywhere, and then I get accepted here, and I was like, okay, if I'm gonna choose a place, and I have for sure the pros and cons, it will be Sweden. So yeah, I chose the university here, and it was actually no regret option for me. I was like, oh God, everything is perfect. And I come here and I found like, okay, I'm literally where I should be. So yeah, that's how I come here.
Brilliant.
Stable.
Yeah.
And
you've been here a few years. I mean, what's kind of made you stay working here?
Linköping always had the best opportunities. I came here in '98 for the first time, exchange student at the same thing. My intention was to stay here for just one term at that particular institute you're working with, or probably agronomy, or not, hydraulics, for example, Flumes. So those courses are outstanding, were outstanding back then, and I wanted to take one of those. That was the point, but that never worked out, so I stayed here all the time. I got my first job at Volvo in Gothenburg, but then Linköping always had the best opportunities. I did my PhD here eventually, and now I'm an associate professor. And I teach product development. I teach within the master's program, but also within the normal program within Sweden. And I think it's brilliant to be here because from my perspective, and I work with a lot of other universities in the world, Sweden or the Swedish students are the most versatile. You are challenged in different ways. You do projects, you work in groups together, which is probably not the easiest thing when you get here the first time, but you learn so much and you take so much with you afterwards. Because in many other universities, you're trained to work on your own, in order to be marked on your performance. But in reality, in work life, you will need basically working groups, and training this is something what Linköping University and Linköping students are really good in.
Kind of what you really will be expected to know once you start working.
Yes.
Yeah, because then it is all in teams. So how have you found it? I mean, transitioning from, you did your bachelor's in Egypt.
Yeah.
Was it a really different?
Professors, so we were kind of learning and learning and learning. difference, even like studying and do a lot in your studies. So yeah, this was like my first shocking thing. I was like asking like, is that just as assignment? Really? Nothing else? I will not like just sleep here and do everything. So yeah, it was amazing that the university itself trying to push you to have a life, social life and work balancing before even you get outside to the work life. So yeah, it's something amazing. Like you find everyone just encouraging you like, okay, this is association doing something here and here and here. So just try to go out there and also do your assignments. So yeah, it's a good thing.
You're learning kind of the softer skills by doing that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just to get on that, you have a life. The other day I had a student from abroad, and he came here in summer, and now he was supposed to do a little holiday in Lapland, and he came very. Is that really possible? Can I leave for a week? Of course you can. It's very much on your own accord how you treat, how to choose to learn, and many of those things which you have to learn are online, so you can do that on your own. And since you're working together in groups, often you can back up for each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think
very very important that you learn not to work all around the clock. I mean, 40 hours a week and very effective. It's you can even see if you would work more, you would probably not achieve more. You're just more tired. That's why I think you have a life. You can start a.
I think this is a very Swedish thing as well, the work-life balance and the emphasis on work-life balance and kind of taking a holistic approach to well-being, and you know you're part of you know society in a sense. But it's when you say you kind of this when you say yes you can go away, I think there's a lot of emphasis on your own responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what I've heard. So yeah, you're in a group, but you can't hide behind the groups.
Exactly.
I mean, how have you felt that? Because it's kind of this, you know, you having to be proactive, not necessarily being told this is exactly what you're doing.
Actually, like this kind of freedom makes you kind of responsible more. So it makes you, and also because everything here is more practical than just theoretical. So you are excited to learn and work actually. So I see like from my own experience and from my own circles that we are all like kind of excited about doing something. So like whenever even you have a group, you want to do it by yourself. So we learn, okay, like you have a responsibility and you also like want to learn or work with this thing. So you're just not obligated. You are excited to do it more. So yeah, it's more just like self-driven thing more than someone's okay, you have to work 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're kind of doing it. It's like a pride, kind of. You take pride in
exactly.
your own achievements and what you do, what your contribution is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's even more. You take responsibility in your development, not only for that particular course, but also for the whole of your program.
Exactly.
I mean, each of our courses has a clear, defined goal, and it's basically your responsibility that you hit that. It's not the exam in the end that counts so much. It's mostly the knowledge which you produce in your head, and that's something we can't control. This is up to you.
A kind of a learning focus, kind of not necessarily the result that you produce in the exam, or this is what, but it's actually the important thing is getting to the knowledge that you then show that you have gained.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that also these courses which we're having, I don't know how that is in your home university, but what we try is to do basically to take your own responsibilities from the beginning. But of course, I see that when you're here the first week, and I know that from my own, you say it was not hard. For me, it was quite hard to do to achieve that. That you suddenly you got the book in English, read that.
Yeah.
Never read the book in English. So those things is but I think what when you say expect, try this. Do your best in this case, and well, then we are here. If you don't succeed, then we are here. We are almost always online, not in the night, obviously, but we use Teams, for example. There you can chat with us, and at that very moment, I see this platform on my screen at my office. I can right away answer, and so on. So we try to do this, but it's always required that you have thought through what is the problem, define the problem. And often on that way you already solve it, but if there is something left, then we help you. So how to say? We put you in the water, hope you can swim, but we don't let you drown.
Good. That's good. Yeah. Have you found this? I mean, this kind of open communication and lack of hierarchy with your teachers. I mean, that's a very Swedish thing.
Yeah, like when I come here first, I was like, okay, professor, and he was like, nah, just call me by my name. I was like, oh my God, I will never disrespect you, no, ever. And he was like, no, it's fine. So like, it took time, but then I learned that, okay, it's very fine that we are all at the same level, because as you mentioned, the way of communication, like whenever I just stuck with something, I go to any professor, I was like, okay, like I'm stuck with this thing, and they literally very, very, very happy to help, even if it's not something in their course, but they try to help you as much as they can. So I find that it's like not just like one way education. It's just like you can go also to them and ask them to help you, and they will help you like with a lot of pleasure. So I just like was, wow, that's amazing. This is how it works to learn something, not just to get educated, but you just learn, you know.
What the worst thing is as a teacher in a course, if you have a quiet course. Nobody's asking.
Yeah.
You have no idea how they're doing. They have no idea what the problems are. You might be too low in level. You might be too high in level. You don't know what the problem is. And that's why we're really, really happy when you get them with, oh, didn't get that. Okay. That is not necessarily that it's students' fault. Maybe I was not good enough to explain the thing. I have to go in. Here's something 2 or 3 were asking me that question. I have to explain that once again.
Exactly.
But if I don't get any feedback, it's a problem. I can't guess.
Yeah. So definitely, you know, this is something to bear in mind, that, you know, you are expected to ask questions. You are expected to challenge even, you know, and kind of, you know, you sure is that right? And I think with the group work and the seminars, students teach each other, and
like in a very, very, very like high level. I mean, everyone, at least for my program in aeronautical, like they come from, for example, electronics, mechanics, mechatronics, and different like other engineering bachelor thing, and like everyone knows something. So when we just like sit and learn because of this like group work thing, everyone contributes in learning you something, and that's amazing because we have different perspectives. For sure, we are all from different like countries, and this is the amazing thing about like international programs, that you will meet a lot of everywhere students. So they have different perspectives and insights and everything. So you just get thousands of solutions instead of one. So yeah, I love it so much. It's amazing.
That's good.
This will be your future network. I still have the contact with these people.
Wow.
I have friends all over the world just because of being an exchange student. Usually when you're in your own country, you have friends, but they don't scatter that much.
Yeah, I know.
It's nice to have friends basically everywhere over the world.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's an international setting, and I think, you know, a lot of companies that you do end up working for, you know, it's globalized now. I mean, it's you will be expected to have some kind of intercultural skills, and I think this is what you really learn properly, not just from a textbook, but by actually, you know, these being your colleagues and your experience. Tell me a bit more about kind of our engineering programs and kind of connection with research or industry. Even you said it's hands-on. I mean, is it?
Yeah. Like for me, like it was the most amazing thing here about like engineering in general, and my program like specifically is the tools. I mean, like aerospace programs or field, you just like don't build aircraft in class. You just like say the theoretical stuff so everyone learn. But like here in the university, like surprisingly, you have a lot of tools. You can just build an aircraft like digitally or something, and you're just like, you can test it, you can analyze it, you can see the performance. And I was like, wow, I can do everything in the class in my chair. I was, wow, that's amazing. And this is actually almost in each course that I have taken here, there is always like an experimental part where you just like get hand-on work or learn by doing the thing, not just like reading it. So it's amazing. This is the most exquisite thing about Linköping that I love it so much.
Oh, brilliant. It sounds fun. It sounds like, it's a lot more kind of, you get your passion gets to shine in it instead of just sitting there kind of, listening.
Exactly. We had like the second place in Brazilian competition last two from like the beginning of November, because we have built an aircraft, me and other 4 in my team, and we just like build it in 1 month. However, all the teams there are just like 30, 40 members, and they build it in a whole year. And I was like, okay, guys, like one of the success steps was just that we have tools that helps us to build the aircraft before building it. So we just like was testing, analyzing the aircraft and see, the stability is not okay, balancing is not okay. And then we make like the best of the digital design, and then we build it, manufacture it, and then we float it. So it was.
I think this sounds really comforting and encouraging for a future passenger that the aircraft engineers are, they've actually have the tools to kind of.
It takes a little more than 1 year or month.
Yeah.
They take about 20 years. But
it probably does.
But they're not as good as you.
Thank you.
At least you have the kind of solid kind of knowledge when you get out there.
But I think there's one takeaway from there, which is very important, is that if you have a digital model in a computer, you're not ready. You have to put that in reality. You have to build things, and then you realize where the problems are.
Yeah.
Because even if you simulate everything in the computer, that does not mean that it works right away. You have the things that material does stuck, or when it gets wet, you have this problem, and so on. So all of our courses here are very much focusing on how can we make the thing work. Actually, the division I'm in is called product realization, to make that a reality, make the product real. And we're mentioning the tools. We have a workshop.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that workshop in particular is the most unique workshop in the whole area, because there are a lot of machines, but the combination of the different machines, there is nothing else like that.
Yeah.
And you can do everything from water cutting to whatever, welding or whatever you need. And I think that is really the strength. Otherwise, you could do things online. But here, and this is the strength of a campus university. Here you can
the
do
tangible side.
Exactly.
Actually.
You can touch it. You can see the material, how that behaves. And
exactly.
What about connections to kind of research or industry? I mean, the aerospace capital and everything. I mean, does that mean we have, I mean, now we just talk about aeronautical, but in general, kind of our engineering, do we have?
Absolutely. We do that very early in the courses, that we have this project. When we're talking about group work, these are projects which are always connected to companies. They come with real-world problems. So just now I'm working with Logitech, for example, in Switzerland. They come with concrete problems of mechanical type. So how to design the switch in the mouse, for example, or we were working Volvo, which quite close, Saab, which you probably is more close to what you do. But yeah, anyhow, we try to bring these companies in. They come and sponsor a problem, and then in the end, you already have this connection to the company. So when it comes to your master thesis, then it's very easy, basically, to get into the company and get the content. I'm just calling them, hey, we met at that course. I want to do a master thesis. And often you can do this. We also do that at our division, at least, that we have this company contacts and say, well, we have these projects. What would you like to do? And these projects are not just something which you just develop. It's something which the company really has a need for, that you do something which is has a meaning to somebody, not just to put on your hard disk and get marked for.
So it's kind of real life kind of problems, and that society is facing, that we're looking at the but this so all this I should mention, which I don't think I have, that all our engineering programs are 2-year programs. First semester tends to be mandatory, most programs, and then second and third you have a bit more electives, but the 4th semester is a thesis project. So that's the entire semester. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm actually having today like a meeting with my supervisor and examiner about my master's thesis, and yeah, I'm planning to do something that I really like because I wanted to work something into material and into aerospace. So I wanted to gather something, and this is the amazing thing about Linköping. You can just like create your own opportunity, and people will help you. So like my supervisor were just so welcome, and they were like, okay, like let's cooperate with this company and let's do this and let's do. I was like, wow, people here help us so much. It's not just me outside. And yeah, like it's funny thing because also like my friends have a lot of opportunities in a lot of companies. So companies here offer a lot of learning, like somehow employment, like master thesis thing. And student just goes there and it's kind of also hand in work in a real life environment. So it's also amazing. Like people can just have it here in the university as a research with professors or just in a company or as me joined between a company and the university. So it's really amazing that you just have learned the theoretical part in the university. Now you are making your own project. So just like go for 5 months.
Yeah, so it gives you 6 months of really getting, a foot in the real world, or whether that be a research world or industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And once again, after just a couple of weeks, in that you're much better than a supervisor.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you are, because you're much more in the details, and that's something. Well, maybe even a little of risk that if you got stuck, you have to get yourself out of it. Of course, with the help of the supervisor, but the supervisor, there is no given answer on the thing, which is much more like a real world problem. You get the real world problem, you get real world problems back.
Yeah, exactly. You have to solve them, the real world, in the real world. So this is another brilliant side. But I think, I'm going to actually give you a brief overview because we're getting close to the half an hour that we have planned for this webinar, and then we'll open up for your questions. But before that, the workload, 40 hours you mentioned, is that kind of 8 till 5, Monday to Friday? Is it a lot of?
No, it's dependent on like your schedule first, and then how you manage your time. Like people just like are so fast with learning. Some people they just come and chill between 12 to 4 and they go home, have like a lot of chilly time with friends and doing a lot of extra stuff. So yeah, it's just more about your schedule, like the lectures and labs that we have, and then just like the self-learning time. So yeah, I think we all have plenty of time also to, beside learning, to chill and have, this work balance thing. So yeah. It's not that stressed thing.
It's not going to be, but you do have classes every day, so it's
kinda, yes.
Yeah, so you're
classes
on
and
campus.
labs and
Classes
seminars
and labs.
and different ways of learning.
Yeah.
We don't do Mondays by 8 o'clock.
No.
You don't like them?
I don't like it. No one likes
me
it.
not either.
Yeah.
So we don't do that.
You don't know 8 o'clock lectures. Good. Let's have a quick overview of the application process. If I could have the slides back, please. And the next slide. Right. You see here a brief overview of how to apply and to get admitted. Do your research is kind of the most important part, whichever program you want to apply for. Check the specific requirements. If it, for example, says that you need maths and you need calculus and you need, specific courses, and in your bachelor you, for example, did a maths 2 or maths 3 or whatever it was called, add a syllabus so that we know that you actually have done the right parts of for example, maths. So have a look at the requirements, make sure that you actually meet them. For example, if you're interested in sustainability engineering, but you don't have the right courses, there might be another sustainability course that's not necessarily engineering. So make sure that you actually do have the right background, you meet the specific requirements, then you apply at universityadmissions.sc. You do this before 15th of January. You can apply for up to 4 programs and you have to order them in the order of priority. Then you have until the 1st of February to either pay your application fee, which is applicable to those from outside the EU. And if you're from the EU, you need to upload a copy of your passport so that we know that you're a European citizen. Also, by the 1st of February is when you need to upload the documents that you need. So your transcript, your diploma, language test, if necessary, if you're from any country apart from pretty much US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and maybe a couple more. So language test, syllabus, if your program has specific requirements. You submit this by the 1st of February. And then you wait. And you wait till the end of March at some point, and then the results will be out. And then if you're looking to apply for a scholarship, you have a few days to do so. But the scholarships are tuition fee waivers, partial tuition fee waivers. So they're only open to fee-paying students, which are the non-Europeans. And then you apply for you apply for a residence permit if you need one, which again is if you're from outside the EU. Pay the tuition fee, which you actually have to do before you apply for the residence permit. But when you get admitted, we send you lots of emails, we send you prompts. We basically tell you when you need to do certain things. But what you need to bear in mind now is 15th of January and 1st of February. And the next slide, please, just the final one. So just quickly, it's a national online application process. So you apply for both Linköping and any other universities. And those are the two deadlines. So online application, submitting documents, paying fee or documenting exam status, which is a copy of your passport. And then the application will be assessed. So that's how you do it. We are going to open up for questions. So usually this is where we start the webinar. So the recording. So the recording will be on our website. So for those of you who are watching the recording, thank you for having been with us. Connect with us on Instagram at Linköping.University. Our students run it. You've been there, so you can see more of Rana. Also, international students blog at liu.sc. Again, you can read more from Rana.
Sure.
And other students as well. But you get the best tips and insights on what you need to do, what it's like to be here from our students. And you can ask questions. So to those of you watching the recording, thank you. And to those of you who are staying, let's open up the Q&A section and see if you have any questions.
Yes, indeed. And that's where I come in. So welcome, everyone. And I see a lot of people have joined meanwhile from different countries. So that's great to see. And we already received a lot of questions. So I'm going to go through them. And hopefully this takes care of that for you. Dominiacas, if I say that right, has the question, well, what is the price of studying? I think you briefly mentioned it, but just to make sure.
Yeah, I didn't actually. It's 124,000 kronas per year. So for 2 years, that's 248, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, 252, because it was, yeah. So 252,000 kronas. That is around, I'd say it's around 20,000 euros or $20,000. I think is roughly the same these days. So that's kind of roughly what you pay tuition fees for 2 years. So around 20,000. And then your cost of living, and the migration agency would like you to have about 850 euros per month. And you need to have that in your account for 10 months to apply for a 1 year permit, which is what we're currently doing. You have to get 1 year at a time.
Mm-hmm.
These are engineering programs, so they are 126,000 kronas per year.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Hussam, and I guess that is directed to the students. What has been the biggest challenge you have faced in your studies, and how did you overcome them?
Transition between two countries. I think this was my main challenging part of just being in Egypt in a hot environment. Just everything is different to kind of Swedish country, not Swedish country, cold country, which is Sweden. But it's amazing thing. Once you just pass through that transition, weird period, you just start feeling, oh, it's a new stuff happening here. So just exciting. Back then, when you just start to meet new people, start to learn new stuff, start to have a new cultures, informations, and everything. So yeah, it's becoming getting from way weird transitional period to exciting period. So yeah, this I think was my main thing since I come here.
And I can imagine for you as well. I think Egypt is a lot more kind of a lively country, and I think Swedes we're not cold, but I think slightly more reserved, slightly more kind of, you know, it's not quite as bustling, I think.
Yeah, exact. So it also takes me sometimes to learn that, like, okay, don't be too much, Rana, don't be too much. So yeah, I just wanted to be a little more lagom word as a
Lagom is a very Swedish word.
Yeah.
It just means just so.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Not
so.
too much, not too little.
Exactly, but it's different for different people, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Great, good to hear. Thank you. And next question from Fahim: is there any research going on in the programs?
Not within the programs, but of course, yes, of course. If you talk about the projects, for example, which we're doing, we have real research questions from companies, for example, or we also do research on our own, and then we take in students to do those things. And that can be done in master thesis, that can be done in projects in some way. If you're interested to do more on that front, to do research, and you plan for career as a researcher, for example, you can do what I did. Stick around here and find your area, talk to us, and then we most probably find ways to get you into the system somehow.
So you're exposed to it, and you kind of get you dip your feet a bit in the research world to see if it's something for you.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope that answered the question.
Great. I hope so too. Otherwise, Fahim, let us know, and we can try our best again. Paul, how accessible are opportunities like internships, apprenticeships for international students during studies as well as after? What can you say about that?
Do you have any experience of internships? I mean, do students do internships? I mean, I suppose that the thesis is in a way an internship.
Yeah, it's of course because we work with companies together. When you do your master thesis, you're most likely to visit the company. The company is then, in many cases, also paying a small fee. Not getting rich, but you get food and and living somehow. So yes, there is this type of experience. If you're looking for pure internships, you mean working for a company to learn as a trainee or something like that? That's often done afterwards. We of course have the connections. We could probably help you to bring you in contact with the right person.
Mm-hmm. But it's something after, and it's not something that's kind of part of the program.
Okay, thank you. Mansar is asking, my country's official language is English. Do I still need an English proficiency test?
Depends. It needs to the course needs to have been taught in English. It depends which country. I can't really answer that unless you're from the UK or the US or one of the kind of the countries that we know is English and is taught in English. So even if it's the official language, I know, for example, if you're from India, you will still, some universities give an exemption for 4-year bachelors in engineering, but it's impossible to say without knowing which country.
Okay. All right. Mansar, let us know if that answered your question. Actually, we did have a follow-up question on a different topic from Mansar. He's doing a master in Nanjing University. I guess that's China, in aeronautics and astronautics. The question is it possible to quit here and apply to your university?
Are they doing a master's program, did you say?
Yes, he's indicating a master. Yeah.
I don't think, if you're asking for a transfer, then no, we don't do transfers. You can, of course, quit your program and apply to Linköping, but you would need to do that just like everybody else. Would you then be able to, would you be exempt from some courses, or are you still expected to do all the courses?
Yeah, could be. It depends on. That would be the correct answer. Yes, some of the courses can be validated and then can be recognized as all courses. Yes.
So sometimes, but you wouldn't do a straight transfer. So you
Mm.
still need to apply. You need to go through the whole process. So
But I think just to be clear, we have to look on on your individual profile to make sure what we can accept and what other things you might have to do. But,
yeah. So again, it's hard to know without knowing exactly what you've done.
Okay. I hope that answered that question for you. Otherwise, let us know. Next question from Mattia. Thank you for organizing this webinar. So thank you as well for joining. He's asking, I would like to start my master in aeronautical engineering next year, and I'm 28 years old. Is it suitable for me, basically? Would I be integrating well into social life? What can you say about that?
Yes, I think yes. Everyone was welcome when I come here. I mean, we are all coming from different countries, different ages, different backgrounds, different everything, and we all fit, we all integrated because everyone is welcome mainly. And the point is like, it's not about, okay, how diverse I am. It's like your diversity, like add to the other people. So it's not a problem at all. Just if you are willing, you will do it. This is the point.
And your age, I think, 28. No, I mean, students.
It's no age.
No, the 28 is nothing. And I think a lot of Swedish students, they kind of work for a year or two and then they come here. And some students have, done that, traveled. A lot of our students have worked. So I think a lot of the master students are at least 25, I'd say. Maybe around there. Yeah, around 25. But
let me add something on that. From my experience, when I get students who are a little bit older, more experienced, have been working or have been doing something else, you're often much more flexible. You have learned more in your life, and you are usually easier to adapt and to work with, as if you're very young and get from university directly straight away. So it can be actually an advantage. Regarding social life, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
That I think that is not a problem.
Yeah,
They're even much older guys.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's different, associations, different groups for different things. So I think, you choose whatever suits you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think those were the questions we've received so far. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Anything coming there? No, I don't think so. We just received another question. So a question from if I say that right. Are there any masters focused on machine learning with implementing structural health monitoring and control systems?
We do have machine learning. It is, what is it called? Data mining and machine learning now. It used to be called statistics and machine learning. It's not an engineering program. I can't remember now what courses it contains. Have a look on our website, lau.sc/education, and see, you'll find it. But I think it's called data mining and machine learning. Something like that. So have a look what that program entails. But in terms of engineering, no, there's nothing statistics with statistics and engineering program.
Good. Well, thank you, and have a look. I actually also pasted another link in the chat, which is from the admission website. So that should be done, and Therese can correct me there, but through universityadmissions.se, there I have pasted the link. So if you're interested to apply, I understand you need to go through that website.
Yeah,
correct?
That's the central application system. But also they have country-specific pages. So, you have a look. So, for example, and you look at the country where you received your bachelor's. So you would have looked at Egypt. You're from Egypt, but you also would have looked. For me, for example, I'm Swedish, but I studied in the UK. So I would look at the UK information. So it's what you had, what requirements you need to fill. So what language tests? Do you need language tests, for example? What documents do you submit? Or if you're from the US, for example, your university needs to send your transcripts in a sealed envelope directly to university admissions. Those little details you can find under country-specific information at universityadmissions.se. But the application process was quite straightforward, wasn't it?
Yes, it's just about knowing. So if you directed to the right website and you just started today collecting what you need to do, and then just apply it, get all the documents and apply it, and it was, I think, straightforward. I didn't get any hassle in the process. So.
No. Just remember when you upload documents to actually name them something sensible, because you won't be able to open them once they're uploaded. So if they're called transcript, you know that you have uploaded your transcript. Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple more questions came in. Fahim, is it correct that when I have a residence in France, I can study for free?
Sometimes it depends why you have a residence permit in France. We usually look at citizenship, but sometimes if you have a residence permit, I think that applies. If you have a residence permit in Sweden, for example, because of your refugee status, you can study for free. So again, I'm not sure exactly how it works if you have a residence permit in France, because it depends. You'd need to ask I think it's the migration agency, Swedish migration agency.
Okay. Thank you. Jose is asking, let's see, what masters are available in the sustainability area and innovation or smart cities theme? Henrik is also asking that.
Yeah, do you want to put the slide back up quickly of our programs? So go, and one more, there you go. So there's sustainability engineering and management. You have sustainability there. Intelligent transport systems and logistics, they cover smart cities. Do we have any of the other programs? Smart cities? I don't know. Actually, I've just seen the data science and information engineering. I'm wondering if that has statistics data mining in it. That's a new program that hasn't actually started yet. It will start next year for the first time. So the person earlier who asked, you should check out that program.
I mean, when you talk about data mining and statistics, these are usually things which come into all of those things as a basic knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't go through an engineering program without getting in touch with statistics.
Exactly.
So yes, there is. But if you want to be specifically a statistician in this case, I think those programs are not for you.
No.
But yes, of course. And then when we talk AI, all AI is coming. No doubt about that. There's a lot of discussion going on just now among us here. What does it mean? What does it mean for us? What do we need to teach? But also a question, what are the requirements for future engineers?
Mm-hmm.
So do we have to change things? Because there will be tasks which engineers do today, which will be obsolete very, very soon. So we are just now adapting to this and taking those things in. So expect that those things you will be in touch with those things as well.
So it's kind of exciting times, things are changing. But sustainability is also, I mean, there is a program, sustainability engineering, but I think sustainability is something that goes as a kind of red thread through Swedish society and in everything we do. So sustainability and creating things that are sustainable are, I would assume, weaved into all our programs.
Exactly. That's a requirement.
Yeah.
If you want to get the course as a course responsibility into a course into the program, you need to have sustainability in there. So I think we treat this sustainability as so obvious that we don't emphasize that anymore, because everything it's interweaved with all these programs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
I hope so too. I can add maybe from our end that I know there are some sustainability programs in Linköping, but they are not engineering, right? So there is a sustainable development. I know we did a webinar about that last year. And there was smart cities he also mentioned. So there's also a program on that, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
not-
the intelligent transport
That's it.
webinar, which was held yesterday, which will soon be on our
Exactly.
website. That will delve deeper into that.
Yep. So just
Yep.
to add a little to that, yep. So they're available as well. You can watch those webinars. I just put a link also in the chat.
Thank you.
Next question, you're welcome, is let's see, Henrik is asking, how hard is it to get a permit to live in Sweden if you're from the EU?
If you're from the EU, it's not hard. I mean, the EU, I think the rules are still supposed to be 3 months, and you go wherever 3 months, you find a job. I don't know how much they enforce that, but you know, you can move here and stay here.
It's your right as a European citizen.
Exactly.
You basically
Exactly.
get here and then you register yourself here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Exactly. So you know, so when you apply for studies, you just come here.
Yes.
And if you're from the outside the EU, you have to apply for residence permit, and some countries will actually have interviews to determine the study intention. But otherwise, an admittance letter is, strongly in support of you gaining a residence permit.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I hope
Okay.
that answers.
I hope so too. Thanks for that. Just commenting to Mary's about program in business. Same, I guess, for you. There are programs in business at Linköping University. Check out the link I sent in the chat. So there are, I believe we did a webinar about that last year as well.
Yeah,
And through the
business
website, I guess,
Mhm.
from Linköping.
Yeah, and if
So
you want to
that is,
combine engineering, you have industrial engineering and management. So that's pretty much
Okay,
business
yeah.
for engineers. Or if you're not an engineer, then you have the business administration program.
Okay. Hope that clarifies that. Paul is wondering, for a master's like aeronautical engineering, can I be admitted after bachelor in electrical and electronics engineering?
Yes, exactly. We have a lot of my peers in the program, like was different, like engineering bachelor, and also like try to read like the requirements or prerequisites of the program on the website, because they like say, okay, if you are studying electronics, mechatronics, mechanical, you can apply for this program.
So specific requirements. You need an engineering degree, but then you have to meet the specific requirements, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. All yeps, so that's good. And I think that is the last question we've received at this moment. And unless we get one still on the border, then we can still take it and answer it. But otherwise, we slowly will round off this session.
Yeah.
So from my end, thanks everyone for joining. And yeah, there's no further questions I see. So over Therese to wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for having joined us and for your questions. As I said earlier, if you have a question at a later date and you kind of go, oh, I should have asked that, you can either email us by replying to something that we've already sent you, or you can connect with us on Instagram, which is Linköping University. You can ask students questions in the blog, International Students blog. Listen to the podcast, Fika with us. And we also have, I think it's international recruitment at liu.se, which is an email address. But contact us, or if you're watching the recording, put a question in the Q&A here and it'll be forwarded to us. Final word. What's the best thing about being here?
Fika.
Fika?
Just, yeah, enjoy coffee and fika. This is something I've come from Egypt to here just to say.
Just
yeah.
drink coffee and fika.
But yeah, like no, just like it's amazing experience, like being an international student and being also in Sweden. So just it's a combination of the best of the best. So yeah, like just be out there, come here and enjoy your time, your learning, and your life in general here.
Thank you. What about you? Best thing?
4 seasons. You have really 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a clear shift between them. So nature is something that's very special. You can't experience that anywhere else.
Okay. Brilliant. Yeah.
Agree.
Yes. So thank you very much, and hopefully this has been useful, and hopefully we'll see you here one day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.